Wow, this is already the second episode of our podcast, sent live to you guys through our Facebook page and recorded to be shared on all of the biggest podcasting platforms. If you'd like to watch the video version of our podcast, then you should subscribe to our Facebook page, facebook.com/allaboutlapland. And you'll be notified when we go live with this podcast or from other places. And you can also watch the video recording of this podcast on our YouTube channel, which is also called All About Lapland. And this is me, Alex, your host. Today's episode is going to bring you all around Lapland, and it's called Where to Travel in Lapland. So we're going to do a little tour around probably my favorite places in whole Lapland. So probably we will leave some of the places out, but we will mention the most important ones. And of course, for our live viewers here on Facebook, you're free to comment and ask questions and interact with me. And I want to thank all of you for the support I had after publishing our first episode. It is already live and out on all of the major podcasting applications, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and so on. So go search All About Lapland out there, or just Lapland, and you'll find us. Actually, I found there are not so many podcasts about Lapland out there, so I think it's the right time such podcasts exists. And I will be sending these weekly podcasts from my studio in Rovaniemi. I'm not yet set on what kind of date it will be. Will it be Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays? That I don't know yet, and I apologize that I cannot tell you in advance. But of course, we can always watch it or listen afterwards. And we will also have our monthly podcast with some guests from around here or a little bit far away that will be recorded in camera and shared later. So, if you want to listen to the first episode, go listen to that because it's a very important one where we talk about when to travel to Lapland and we go through all of the different seasons to travel here and what kind of stuff can you do. So in this second podcast, we will explore some of the places in Lapland. And I will also be talking about some companies. I will be recommending some companies, and I want to be clear that these companies are the clients of our company, All About Lapland company. And at some point we were sponsored by them, maybe not at this very moment, but at some moment we produced some pictures for them or some advertisement. So keep it in mind when you listen to my recommendations. On the other hand, I'm really proud of these companies that I will be talking about, and I'm also a client of theirs, and I often go to these places that I will be telling about, and many of the business owners of these companies have become my friends because we share same kind of mentality. So I can basically talk about these services with my open heart to you. So without further ado, let's go and check out some of the places. And thanks for everyone who is online right now. We have Angelina, we have Rafael, and we have Marcy from California. And hopefully we'll have some comments from you guys. And feel free to ask questions. And also send me your recommendations or ideas about what kind of podcasts can we make in the future, what interests you. So we're going to go on a map here, and we're going to take a look around the Finnish Lapland, and we're going to start with Rovaniemi, the capital of Finnish Lapland, over here, and then we'll go south to Kemi, Ranua, then we'll go to Kuusamo, and even though Kuusamo is not legally Lapland in general sense, it shares lots of similarities with Lapland in terms of tourism. And from there we will go north to Pyhä and Luosto areas over here. So here we have Pyhä and Luosto. We'll go there. We'll visit Saariselkä ski resort over here. We'll visit the village of Ivalo and Aurora village, and we'll go to Inari, then further north to Utsjoki and Nuorgam. Then we'll also go to Levi. I know many of you have been to Levi and love Levi. We'll go to Ylläs over here, and we'll explore Muonio very briefly, and we'll go to Kilpisjärvi in the end. So it's going to be a pretty fast and pretty basic overview, and I hope that in our future episodes we'll see some of the regions in more detail, and of course you can always ask me questions about these regions. And Elke is saying warm greetings from Saksa. Thanks for watching. Dankeschön. And hello Kathy from California. I love Finland, have toured there twice. Well, Kathy, maybe now it's time to plan the third trip once the borders are going to reopen and to visit Lapland. So we're going to go to the capital of Lapland, Rovaniemi, first on our list. So let's see that. There we go. So I'm based in Rovaniemi myself. Rovaniemi is the capital of Lapland. I love this city. For me, it has the perfect balance between nature and services and kind of general quality of life and events. So that's why I'm based here in Rovaniemi. And it's Rovaniemi, it's one of these places that you can easily visit throughout the year. There will be something to do. Many of the places in Lapland have sort of seasonality, and most of you guys, you also come in winter. So we will be mainly talking about winter activities, a little bit of summer activities, but keep in mind that some of the places up north might not represent the whole range of their activities. When Rovaniemi, for example, it has something going on all around the year. And Rovaniemi also has the biggest airport in Lapland, so many of you will come through Rovaniemi anyway while on your visit. So what are the key things to experience in Rovaniemi? So first of all, it's of course the culture of Lapland, and here you have several of the top museums that are open all year round, such as the Arcticum Museum, situated on the shore of Ounesjoki River. Great place to visit. We've just produced a very cool virtual visit to this museum, so go find it on our YouTube page and see that video about the Arcticum Museum. You have Korundi House of Culture, which is the Museum of Modern Art. Really nice place. And of course, Rovaniemi is known as the hometown of Santa Claus. And Santa is my friend. I very often go out with him to enjoy nature, to take a few pictures, and he's a really, really cool guy. And you can visit Santa at Santa Claus Village. You must, of course, have heard about Santa Claus Village. It's open all year round. It has been open now for almost 1 month after the COVID thingy happened, and basically life is getting back to normal. You can come visit Santa Village all year round. Of course, it's gorgeous looking during winter, and there is this kind of real Christmas spirit out there. So I totally love going to Santa Village. And in addition to culture and Santa Claus, Rovaniemi has some really nice nature nearby, such as the Arctic Circle hiking area with beautiful bridges and like nature really up close that you can reach out there. One of the attractions that is situated a little bit further away from Rovaniemi is the Arctic Snow Hotel and glass igloos, and every year a new snow hotel is built there where you can also sleep the night. So that might be something interesting for you to check out. And of course, summer right now is beautiful out here, and you can do lots of things in water. You can do kayaking stand-up paddling, going out in nature, and now we have beautiful harvest season starting on, so lots of berries out there to be found. So I would recommend Rovaniemi for those who are visiting Lapland for the first time. And actually, regarding the time of your visit, I think that the ideal thing for a person who is visiting for the first time is to arrive from Rovaniemi and spend a few days and nights here, and then go explore around, depending on what you like. For example, you can go to north to Ylläs or Levi, or you can go to the east to Ruka. So spend a couple of days in Rovaniemi, a couple of days out there to see kind of what you like. One of the sort of mistakes, quote unquote, what I've heard people do is that they try to combine their Lapland trip with the Helsinki trip. So they're saying, okay, Helsinki is the capital, let's go there like 2 or 3 days, and then they only go for 2 days to Lapland. And when they arrive here they say, well, we kind of made a mistake because, as much as Helsinki has its own culture, especially in winter, it's really pale in comparison to Lapland. Mainly for the thing that there is no winter anymore in Helsinki. So in summer, Helsinki is a very vibrant and green city with lots of restaurants and events, but in winter I would skip Helsinki also ever and just go straight to Rovaniemi. Like, Rovaniemi is the place you want to start your exploration of Lapland, not Helsinki. So Helsinki is a great city, I love it. Go there in summer, go visit Suomenlinna, but just go there on a separate trip on southern Finland. Just don't try to squeeze too many things into one trip. So in our podcast, we'll be mainly talking about Lapland. So that's what I can really recommend. Just go in Lapland and, skip everything else on this trip. And of course, one of the other mistakes is when people try to cram too many trips, like too many destinations in just a short while, and then they arrive to a place in the evening, it's dark, you cannot see anything. They go on some excursion in the morning and then they have to leave to another place. So it's Lapland is a kind of really mellow place that you want to relax in, not to just, not to make a marathon, if you know what I mean. It's a bit different in winter, in summer. In summer, if you're having your own car, then it's kind of okay to circle around. If you have a free schedule, you can spend like 10 days or 2 weeks, then it's kind of okay to go around. In winter, it's a bit different. The days are very short, so I would just choose like even one cool destination like Ylläs or Levi or Saariselkä, whatever. Just go there for a week and stay there, and you will enjoy it much more than just circling around and just come back for another trip in a few years or another season. So that's kind of my main advice to all of you guys. And Angelina now is asking me, how are the mosquitoes this year? Well, Angelina, the mosquitoes are very, very hungry this year, especially after midsummer, which was 3 weeks ago. They were really, really crazy. I mean, I couldn't go to my terrace. I was just eaten alive, basically. And now even every second night I wake up to kill some mosquitoes because I cannot sleep with them, biting me and just doing this. So now we have the mosquito season, but slowly, very slowly, when we go into end July and especially mid-August, then you will have considerably less mosquitoes. A few here and there, but not to be like a really difficult thing to be around. So that's the mosquito situation. So we've just recently discussed Rovaniemi, and I can especially recommend Rovaniemi for families with kids. It's very family friendly. You have lots of family oriented attractions. Of course, visiting Santa Park. You have interactive playgrounds here like Hoplop. So it's a nice, well balanced city. So if you don't want to spend hours in nature, if you want to have more services, if you want to have more kind of options for everything, then Rovaniemi is the ideal place. If you have small kids and you want to circle around Lapland, it can be a challenge, and especially if you want to go see Northern Lights and you have small kids, you'll have to make some sacrifices in terms. Well, I don't mean you should sacrifice your kids, not at all. I mean you should sacrifice your your plans that maybe could be too ambitious. For example, it can be very hard to go on the Northern Lights tour in winter with small kids, because they'll want to they'll want to sleep and to relax. So the best way is to book such accommodation that has these panoramic windows, like a glass hotel, like for example Arctic Snow Hotel and Glass Igloos is the perfect place. So you can stay inside with your kids and enjoy the show. Being very warm, your kids want to sleep, like let them go to sleep, and you can sort this thing out. So that's kind of another advice. Rovaniemi, great for families and great for starting your trip in Lapland. Now we are going to go south, and by south I mean going to Kemi over here, and then we'll go to Ranua over here. So both are about 1 hour drive away from Lapland. So Kemi quite rightly markets itself as a kind of a gate to Lapland kind of thing. So if you're driving from down there on your own car, you'll probably pass through Kemi. And Kemi, of course, it's known for its snow castle. So the snow castle is the main attraction out there in Kemi. And let me find Kemi over here on my screen. There we go. Now we have to be in Kemi. There is unfortunately some lag in my software, so if you're looking for the screen, you're probably seeing some different picture, but I guess that's okay. We are doing many things on the fly. There we go. Now we are in Kemi. So Kemi, it's a kind of flat area. They don't have mountains. So at one point they decided we have to come up with something cool, and indeed they have. So Kemi has the oldest and the biggest snow castle in the whole region, and it's absolute beauty. I visited almost every year during this past 5-6 years, and they also have a snow hotel where you can sleep out there, although it can get pretty cold there. That's that's true. So the problem with the snow castle is that it takes a lot of time to build it, and usually the snow castle is open only after Christmas, like late January, and it's open for 3 months until it melts away. So what they did recently, they built a huge hall where they actually made another snow castle, or it's more like an ice castle that doesn't melt even in summer. So if you're driving from Helsinki, southern Finland, to Rovaniemi and to Lapland, you'll pass through Kemi, and even in the middle of summer you can visit this second snow castle, which they call 365 experience, if I'm not mistaken. So, and it's cold there. Imagine going from really warm weather inside, and it's cold there. So that's quite amazing. And there's also nice restaurant there, which I enjoy a lot at the Kemi Snow Castle. The second thing why Kemi is famous is the Sampo icebreaker. So at one point they salvaged this icebreaker, which was too old for Finland, for Finnish state, but they purchased that, and now they organized the really very cool excursions on this icebreaker. And the highlight of this trip is when you get to dive into the icy water. Well, not dive, but float on the icy water. So that's a pretty cool thing. And actually there is also another icebreaker which has the same concept. It's called Polar Explorer. It operates in Sweden, but basically you can do the same thing. So you can basically choose from one or another depending on the availability. So the experience is more or less the same. And the second icebreaker takes place here on the Swedish side, but you can get there by bus, which is included in the ticket price. So that's Kemi. Next, we're going to Ranua, and Ranua, it's a small village, but it also has a zoo, a wildlife park, and it's a really cool wildlife park that is situated around in nature. And like a really cool thing is that it's not just, in your regular zoo, everything is crammed together. Here you are walking in the middle of the forest, and you're just, seeing one animal, seeing another animal, and it's a pretty nice experience. Ranua Zoo is known for polar bears. I mean, it's very difficult to see polar bears in nature, and they're not available to be seen in Finland. They only can be seen, for example, in northern Norway on Svalbard Islands, but this is the closest you can get to real polar bears here in like normal life. They have a couple of polar bears. Their recent bear, which was born in the zoo, he's called Sisu, which means resilience, and he's just packed with energy, this little dude. So pretty cool stuff. And the whole experience of just exploring around in the zoo, looking for nature, it's just a cool thing to do. There are many different animals that you can see out there, wild boar, wolves, which are very rare in Finland. You can see wolves out there. And Ranua, it's also a great place because you can visit all year round, no matter the season, summer, winter, autumn, spring, all the 8 seasons you can visit. And in winter, some of the animals are hibernating, like the brown bears, but in summer you can see pretty much all of the animals out there. And Ranua also has pretty new cottages, just like normal cottages and the glass igloo cottages, so it's very safe and very nice to stay in one of those in Ranua. And Ranua, it's very close to Rovaniemi, so it's very easy to combine a trip to Ranua and Rovaniemi. You can be based in Rovaniemi and go down for a day trip to Ranua or vice versa. So that's kind of my advice. Right, our next destination. So we've been to Rovaniemi here, we've been to Ranua. Now we're going to go to the eastern part of Finland, and the official border of Finland, of Lapland and northern Ostrobothnia is over here. So part of this part, it's not officially in Lapland, but it's Lapland, It feels like Lapland. And first we're going to go to the Riisitunturi National Park for a brief moment, and then we'll go to the Ruka ski resort, and we'll go to Oulanka National Park, which is out here in this area. So let's dive into Kuusamo next. And Helge is saying ice hotel is on the bucket list. I'm really glad that you say that, and there are many ice hotels in whole Finland, and the Arctic Snow Hotel is just one of those. There is one in Kemi, there is one in Ylläs, etc., etc. So going to eastern part of Finland, we are getting into Riisitunturi National Park, which is known for its snowy popcorn trees. And this national park, you can visit it in summer and in winter, but I think that this one, it's even more popular in winter than in summer because of just that, these beautiful snowy popcorn trees that you have out there. And especially during the blue moment, these shapes are just like you have an out of this world experience when you're out there. You're like on another planet, basically. And it's just a beautiful place to visit. You can drive there from Rovaniemi in about 2.5 hours, and you can drive there from Ruka in about half an hour. to a parking place, and from there it's about 1 hour's hike towards the top of the fell, where you have the best sceneries. And you can also make like a circular tour around the fell and visit the wilderness hut, which will probably take you about 3-4 hours if you're making like the circular tour, plus photos, depends on what you like. A great place to take photos of northern lights. Not the easiest one, because you are basically out there alone, and you have to have some supplies, some warm clothes, some lamps, extra batteries for your phone. But it's a really cool place for northern lights pictures, especially for these snowy popcorn trees. And next we're going to Ruka ski resort, which is situated in Kuusamo region, in eastern part of Finland, next to the Russian border. Well, not really next to, but this region has border with Russia, let's call it like that. And Ruka ski resort, it's very cool and modern resort with an amazing alpine skiing center. It's a beautiful place, very modern. You have lots of slopes, so one of the best places to go alpine skiing in whole Finland, and I've been there many times. And it's just a nice place. I don't know, it feels very cozy. Ruka ski resort has a very compact village, which is called the Ruka village, on the side of on the main slope. And there you'll find lots of services. You'll find nice restaurants. You'll find apartment hotels, which I really like. You can find regular hotels and cottages. So everything is so close. You can just start alpine skiing or go cross country just from your cottage or just from your hotel. And Ruka is known for having the longest alpine skiing season in the whole Finland, because they store last winter's snow to keep it through the summer under protective material and to spread it out in mid-autumn. And I think this season they're opening about I don't remember which day it is, but it's 4th or 5th of October. So in just, 2.5 months. Is it? August, September. Yeah, 2.5 months. And you can go alpine skiing. Pretty cool. Of course, it will not look wintry yet. There will be you'll have to wait for a few weeks for natural snow to cover everything, but you can go down on the slopes. That part you can do. And I've enjoyed so many alpine skiing experiences out there. It's totally amazing. Ruka is also known as a kind of this kind of youthful resorts. There are many youngsters who like to go alpine skiing, like to party, like go, have fun. So that's a pretty youthful, pretty energetic kind of resort, but also very beautiful. As in Riisetunturi, you have these beautiful popcorn snowy trees out there. And especially in January and February, it's like, this is the place to be, guys. January and February in Ruka, this is totally amazing. There is considerably less people than in other seasons, even for alpine skiing. The prices are okay. There are not many people anywhere on the slopes, and you can see amazing kind of landscapes. I just have goosebumps remembering this experience in Ruka. It was so amazing. A second thing to visit Ruka in January, it's the Polar Light Festival. Starting from the second week of January until early February, for 2 weeks, all of the slopes are illuminated in these funky colors. And that is made to bring light in the middle of winter darkness. In January, there is gradually less darkness and more light with every day, but still having this festival with lots of light around, it's a wonderful idea. And you can go skiing in the evening in the middle of these lights. It's totally different experience that I've never seen anywhere else in Finland or out there too. So that's the second reason for January and early February in Ruka. There are many options for you to stay in the middle of the village there are apartment hotels, which that's my choice, apartment hotels in the village center, because you can cook your own meals, you can warm up your clothes, dry the clothes after a day out, so that's pretty convenient. But if you're looking for something cool, there is a new igloo village open near Ruka, and it's called Magical Pond. It's just opened, everything is new, it's total silence, there are no people, and beautiful views outside from the panoramic windows. Totally loved it. And near the Magical Pond village, you have one of the coolest safari companies / service providers in the area called Lammintupa Winter Village. It's actually very close to Ruka center, although it looks like it's in the middle of nowhere. You can do huskies over there, and you can do reindeer and ice karting. So that's a pretty cool place for activities. And you can also ski there from Ruka Resort with cross-country skis. Go out there for a donut and a coffee, have a little break by the fire, and just continue on your way. So that's pretty cool place to visit. One other very cool experience that I had last winter in Ruka was floating in the icy water. So that's similar to what you do on the icebreaker, although you don't move anywhere, you just stay on one place and then you're picked up. The ice floating that happens in Ruka, you go inside the river, you just lay back, and you are taken by the flow of the river downwards a few hundred meters, and then you kind of get out of the water, and it's a really interesting experience just to float on your back and have this kind of feeling that you have no weight. And the day that we did our experience, it was -15, so it was pretty cold. And you can do this experience with a company called Ruka Palvelu. They have a service center, safari house in the middle of Ruka village, and they also have different kinds of experiences, snowmobile safaris and whatnot. So Jimmy is saying, I wanted to visit Finland with my wife next March, but I don't think the pandemic will allow me. Maybe I'll have to wait another year. Well, Jimmy, it depends on where you are based, but Europe is slowly reopening now. Finland has allowed travel for half of Europe already, and every 2 weeks we'll add new countries on the list, so I think we'll have to be optimistic about that. And Joe is saying, spent last Christmas in Ruka, great family ski resort. Exactly. Total enjoyment. One of the coolest things that you can do around Ruka is to visit another national park called Oulanka, and it's a very, very, very vast place, but one of the places inside Oulanka National Park, it's called Myllykoski, and it's a beautiful rapid at the Myllykoski River, which is near the parking spot. You only have to walk a few hundred meters, and you'll see beautiful nature and the stream of water which goes in circle, and just a nice place for a day visit. You can make a campfire out there by the fireplace, and just enjoy your stay out there. Ruka region is also cool to visit in summer, of course. Winter activities are out of the question, but national parks, certainly you can visit those. And one cool experience that you have in Kuusamo, it's wildlife watching, and specifically brown bear watching. I've done that 2 summers now. I'm totally amazed by these animals, brown bears in their natural habitat. There are a couple of companies that organize trips to see bears in the wild. One of them, it's Lammintupa Winter Village. They have a company called Karhutupa, so you can use that, or another cool company is called Karhu Kuusamo, which both of these I have used myself, so pretty neat. So next we're going to Pyhä and Luosto areas in Lapland, and we've been around here in the eastern part of Finland. So to get to Pyhä and Luosto, you basically arrive for Rovaniemi and you take a bus which will take you by this road over here to either Luosto resort right here, or Pyhä ski resort. So it's about 1.5 hour drive away from Rovaniemi. That's the easiest route to get to Pyhä and Luosto areas. Let me have a little drink here. Nice. So Pyhä is a small village in the middle of nowhere, and it's also the name for a mountain and a ski resort. And compared to Ruka or Levi, for example, it's very small and very kind of cozy and intimate. Everything is in one spot. There are not so many people out there. It's known among Finnish people who want to, escape their, regular resorts, but it's not very well known for foreigners. Of course, some people do, but many people just don't know anything about this place. So, Pyhä ski resort, as I said, it's not very big, but it's very nice. And what makes this place special, it's this wild nature which is all around Pyhä. Only one side of the resort is dedicated, only one side of the mountain is dedicated to the ski resort, and the second part of the mountain, it's national park. So this combined with the natural views out there makes it really special, and it's kind of quiet and really kind of relaxing place. And Pyhä Luosto National Park starts just near Pyhä ski resort, and you can visit it basically all year round in winter and in summer, and it's a totally wild place. If you are looking for some civilization and some services, fancy restaurants, then maybe Pyhä is not your place. And if you want to go for a walk around, basically there's one road and that's it, and you go back to your hotel. So there is a certain charm in that there's not many people and not many things out there, and this is why many people like Pyhä so much, me included. Go there pretty often. In summer, ski resort of course is closed, but the national park is even more accessible, and all of the routes are available. You can hike around these beautiful rugged fells, and it's an experience on its own to be in Pyhä in summer during the midnight sun. Pyhä Luosto National Park is known to have one of the biggest and largest canyons in whole Finland, called Isakuru, and you can visit it in summer. You can walk all the way through the canyon. Next place that we are looking at is Luosto, which is only 30 kilometers away from Pyhä. And Luosto is also a very tiny ski resort with a couple of hotels and a couple of companies. So this place is pretty wild. Lots of nature everywhere. So if you want to have a place which is totally quiet, not many people, you just go to Luosto, and forget internet for a week and just enjoy nature. Luosto is also known for its amethyst mine, which is situated on the next fell from the ski resort itself. It's called Lampivaara, and that's a really cool place to visit. Also in winter time, and it's the only place in Europe where you can find amethysts. And even coolest thing is that it's only for tourism and for recreation. There are no machinery out there to dig for amethysts. It's only for visitors. You just come, take simple pics, and you just dig around there and find your stone. Total silence and total beauty, and that was a pretty wise decision that the amethyst mine made. In winter, it's a little bit more difficult to get there because there is so much snow, but they provide a snow train from Luosto center that will take you up there to the fell. Or what you can do is you can ski there from the Luosto center, and that way your ticket will be a little bit cheaper. The way it works in winter is that part of the mine is covered with the roof, meaning that the snow is not going to get there and you can still dig for amethyst. Mainly you'll find small stones out there, quartz stones and amethyst, which is the form of quartz, and you can take one small stone that will fit in the palm of your hand with you. And of course you can negotiate for more stones if that's your thing. Of course, now in summer, the amethyst mine is open. It's a great place to visit. Normally, in summer, you hike there from the Luosto center, and then you buy the ticket at the cafe of the amethyst, which is not on top of the fell. It's down there, and it's cheaper to go there because you don't need to buy a ticket for the snow train, and you just dig out outdoors for your amethyst. So that is Luosto. Moving on, we are going to go to Levi and Ylläs regions, and many of you have been to Levi, I know that, and Levi is totally amazing. I love Levi. I've been there dozens of times at least, and Levi, it's probably the most famous ski resort in Finland, and there is a reason for that, because it's just one cool ski resort, very big one in of course in Finnish terms, lots and lots and lots of slopes, and in addition to slopes you can just go and ski down in this forest areas, which is a totally amazing experience. Levi is great to visit in the middle of winter, December, January, February, when the sun is so low on the horizon, and basically the only way to see the sun and experience the sunlight is just go up on the fell, and that's what you can do when you're climbing up there on the fells. The nature out in Levi, it's so amazing, especially the views towards the southern slopes. I mean, it's totally breathtaking. You can also visit Levi in summer, although I think most of the companies, at least the service providers, safari companies, are closed for the summers. You're basically exploring on your own. However, if you want to see the midnight sun, the top of Fell Levi, it's one of the easiest places to get to, because you can drive there. You don't need to hike. So if you're circling around, you just drive on top of Fell Levi. There are several parking spots out there, and you can just enjoy the midnight sun with no sweat, so to say. And one cool place near Levi is the Lainio Snow Village, which became very famous after choosing the Game of Thrones theme for its hotel a couple of times, and it's been totally amazing to see the characters of Game of Thrones in the ice and snow, so you can visit that. And we're now moving a little bit to the west side. So the Snow Village is 1 hour drive to the west. Actually, it's not very far from Ylläs Resort, where we're going next. Ylläs, it's little bit, it's like total opposite of Levi. Levi, it's a very modern, very compact place, also known for clubbing and for party going, so it's a very kind of dynamic place. While Ylläs, which is only 1 hour away, it's like very mellow, very relaxed. Not to say it's old-fashioned, not at all, but I mean it's a totally different experience to be in Levi and to be in Ylläs. Ylläs, it's very wide. There are 7 fells in Ylläs, for which it's famous for. One of the fells has the ski resort, and there are 2 villages where locals live, while Levi village is more like a touristic village, the center of it. And the villages in Ylläs are like more authentic places where locals live themselves, so not only tourists stay there. And there are 2 villages, one called Kilpisjärvi, it's on the southern part of Ylläs, and Akaslompolo is on the north side. So these villages are like caught between these beautiful, beautiful fells. The great place about Ylläs, it's even at the height of the season, when you go there, you're kind of, in the middle of nowhere. There is so much places for everybody to stay, so you don't see that much people around, even though it's like the busiest. It might be the busiest time out there because people are staying in this village, in that village. Some people are going on activities, some people not. So it really kind of, it's totally relaxing at any time of the year that you go there. Nature, it's probably the best thing about Ylläs, and you can explore it on your own as well on various ways, especially cross-country skiing. It's pretty epic in Ylläs. I've done that lots of times. You encounter amazing views, amazing fells, so I like that a lot. The coolest time to visit Ylläs, I think, would be somewhere from end December until early March, and every kind of month has its own special light, so I won't say there's kind of favorite, but in terms of winter beauty, I would say January, February, early March. This is when you have most of the snow also on the treetops. And one of the main things that Ylläs is famous for, it's national park. It's called Pallas-Ylläs National Park. It starts immediately when you exit the main village, the Aakaslampolo village. It's just surrounding that place, and you can explore there on foot, on mountain bikes, on skis, and in summer by canoe. So anything you like, you can do out there in Ylläs. And I really enjoy exploring, just not even like the trails, but just wilderness out there. You can climb on the fells, even in snow, with special skis, like wide skis. You can rent those skis, by the way, in Aakaslampolo center. You can rent everything. You don't need to buy stuff. You don't need to bring it with you. So you can rent something for a day and just enjoy the beautiful views, take a few pictures, have a thermos bottle with you, some couple of sandwiches, and basically you have your own program. Of course, the more up north you go, the better chances you have on Northern Lights, and I have seen amazing Northern Lights in Ylläs on many occasions, and it's enough that you go outside your cottage in the main village of Aakaslampolo on the frozen lake and just enjoy the show. And last December we had an amazing show at about 20th of December, something like that. Bernice is saying, we've been going to Ylläs and Aakaslampolo every year since 2005. Our favorite place. And lots of friends there now. So Ylläs is just another amazing place to visit. Actually, if you're going for 1 week, for one certain location, you don't want to go explore other locations, go to Ylläs, you will definitely enjoy that. Summer in Ylläs is also very vibrant, and especially because of all of this wilderness and national park all around you. There are many trails which are very easy to access on foot or on mountain bikes. The midnight sun is shining all night long and all day long for 2 months. There's lots of light, fresh air, couple of mosquitoes that will bite you certainly, but totally enjoyable experience, especially riding at night in the fells. You don't need a headlamp or anything like that. You can see everything, and the weather is nice and cool. So what can be more perfect than that? A couple of tips if you want to choose Ylläs. So if you're kind of person that wants only the best and money is not, well, let's say it's not the big question for you, I can warmly recommend a place called Aurora Estate. Aurora Estate, it's a really small place situated on the southern part of Ylläs, in a village called Kilpisjärvi, and it's a small boutique hotel that offers several cozy rooms. And the good thing about that, it's that you don't need to stay there, you can also go to their restaurant, Aurora Estate Restaurant, which is an amazing restaurant. Probably one of the best restaurants that I've seen in whole Lapland. So dined there many times. Their chef, Sirli, she's just amazing. So I can warmly recommend that for you guys. If you're on a budget though, I can recommend a place called Seven Fells Hostel. It's in Akaslompoli village, so the second village, which is in the north. And it's a very cozy, very small hotel. If you're on a budget, there is actually no better place than that in whole Ylläs, in my humble opinion. Stayed there many times and will stay in the future. So a couple of tips about Ylläs region. Alright, next we are going to go up north. We're going to visit Utsjoki, we're going to visit Ivalo, Saariselkä, and different kinds of places in the most northern part of Finnish Lapland. And by the way, if you have some questions, feel free to ask about these resorts or other places in Lapland, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. And let's see where we're at. So we visited Rovaniemi, Kemi, Ranua, Kuusamo. Oh, not that close. Kuusamo. We've been to Luosto Resort and Pyhä Resort. We've been to Levi. And we've been to Ylläs. So Ylläs is a beautiful resort with two villages of Kilpisjärvi on the southern side and Akaslompolo on the northern side. Beautiful Seven Fells and National Park all around. And there's also an airport in Kittilä with which you can access both Levi and Ylläs. And now we're heading back to the Inari and Utsjoki regions in the northern part of Finnish Lapland. And we're going to start exploring Saariselkä, which is a famous ski resort. We will go to Ivalo, which is a small village, the biggest village in Inari region. And specifically we'll go to the Aurora village, which is a little cozy hotel out here. No, actually it's cannot find it now. Somewhere here it was. A little cozy hotel in Ivalo village, and we'll see the Lake Inari, visit the Inari village, and just go up north to Utsjoki and Nuorgam, the most northern parts of Finnish Lapland. Barbara is saying I will be in Kilpisjärvi in September, so Saariselkä it's pretty near to Kilpisjärvi. Alright, Saariselkä is the most northern ski resort in Finland and also in whole European Union. It's a beautiful place up north with unique nature and unique kind of, very wild vibe to that. The ski resort itself, it's a little bit smaller than in Levi and in Ylläs, but it's still pretty nice. Unlike other resorts in Lapland, the ski resort is actually situated on two adjacent fells, and you can basically slide from one fell, go down, and then go up on the opposite side, and vice versa. So that's the peculiarity of Saariselkä ski resort. Saariselkä is also known for its extensive cross-country skiing network. So that's what you do there in winter. In summer, Saariselkä basically closes down almost completely. There are not many services in Saariselkä. Of course, you can get accommodation, and the main thing you do in Saariselkä in summer is just exploring the nature and, having this kind of unwinding experience away from everything else. And Saariselkä is indeed pretty wild. Saariselkä is also a gate into Finland's largest, I believe, national park, called Urho Kekkonen's National Park, spanning from Saariselkä all the way towards the Russian border for dozens of kilometers. And as recently as 3 weeks ago, we went there on a hike exploring the beautiful fells, and it was just an amazing time to be there. Still no mosquitoes, not very hot, beautiful nature around, even not many people anywhere. And the coolest thing about going hiking in Finland, in my opinion, is that you have good trails and you have places to stop anywhere you like. There are teepees where you can make a fire. They have a supply of firewood that you can use for free as long as you're using everything, sparsely, and you're not burning big fireplaces. Just take only as much firewood as you need to warm up or to cook food or something like that. There are many places where you can put your tent. Mainly these places are situated around the teepees. So you can have a wonderful experience in the Finnish nature in any kind of national park, but Urho Kekkonen's National Park, it's like a really vast and really wild place. When I visited in early June, there was still some snow out there in the mountains, and yet there was midnight sun, so you can have a totally mind-blowing image taken at midnight with sun shining all night long and snow, which kind of, it's really cool in my opinion. Next, we're going to Ivalo, and Ivalo itself is like a small village with a couple of hotels and a couple of shops. So it's also the biggest village in a region. But the place that I would recommend in Ivalo, it's the Aurora village. It's the kind of the coolest place to be in Ivalo, and it's ran by my friend Juha, who is a very cool dude. He's developing the village all the time. And he has those famous glass igloo cottages. But what he did in a very cool way is he placed the cottages that each cottage has their own view towards the north. So in front of you, you don't see another cottage. You see like wilderness, you see forest, and you have a view towards the north to enjoy the northern lights. And speaking about northern lights, I have seen many out there in Ivalo. Last September, 27th of September, I went to Ivalo specifically to catch the Aurora storm, and we did that with Juha, the owner of Aurora Village, and we filmed northern lights for 5 hours around there, both inside the cottages and also in the village area and also outside. And this is when I took probably one of the coolest images of my career, which was also featured in the news, in Reuters News, and many famous magazines. And it was a bit of a challenge to take that picture because it depicts me standing on a huge rock in the middle of the lake with northern lights and with lamp. So in order to get to the rock, I had to crawl through the cold water. I had to take my clothes off, then I crawled. The main challenge was not even the cold water, but the very rocky kind of floor of the lake. So I took my camera and set it to take pictures. It just went there with the lamp and put my clothes back on and took a couple of pictures. And in total I went 3 times on a rock, but it was totally worth it. So Ivalo is very cool for northern lights. It's so much more up north than any other place, 300 kilometers more north than Rovaniemi. So seeing northern lights in Ivalo, it feels like luxury because it's so much easier for several reasons. One of the reasons is that the more north you go, the more active the northern lights become. And the second reason, of course, is that you have so much less city lights and you have so much more wilderness. So basically you have to step out of your cottage or even be inside one with the glass igloos and to enjoy the show without any kind of, lights in your face or something like that. And there are many activities that are offered in both Saariselkä and Ivalo regions, starting from snowmobiles to husky tours and reindeer tours. One of the coolest trips I did in February is having a very long, several-hour snowmobiling adventure with the staff of the Aurora village, and we went to explore some fells inside the wilderness that surrounds Ivalo, and it was totally amazing experience. So that was pretty wild to explore nature in in just a very kind of personal way, just miles and miles and miles of wilderness and nothing else. That's pretty cool. So in summer, the Aurora village is also open, and because there is so much light, you have special kind of curtains to close the windows so you can sleep in a more or less normal way. It's a bit of a problem for foreigners to sleep here in summer because there is so much light around the clock. So I would recommend buying some, eye patches or, this kind of thing, some kind of mask that you put over your eyes. So that might help you getting asleep. But also the good thing about summer is that you can see beautiful nature around the clock. Next, we're going more north towards Lake Inari, and Lake Inari gives the name for the whole region and also the adjacent village of Inari. Inari, I think it's one of the biggest lake, third biggest if I'm not mistaken, certainly in top 3. So the statistics now escape my head, but Inari Lake, it's such a beauty. Any kind of season you go there, in summer or in winter time. In summer they offer cruises that depart from the village of Inari that go around this beautiful area, and in winter you can explore it in different ways as well. What next? Let me see. When the seasons change, Lake Inari starts to freeze, and that happens in about November, and I think it's one of the most special times to visit this area to see how winter really begins, and it happens pretty fast in just a matter of a couple of weeks when it's happening. Also, speaking about the seasons to travel, you can of course listen to our first episode of our podcast and hear about different seasons in more detail. But if we're talking about early winter, November time, it can be a very different experience if you go to southern Finland or northern Finland, and it can be as drastic as it gets. You can get 20-30 centimeters of snow already in northern Finland, and the ground might still be dark and without snow in Rovaniemi area. So if you are planning a trip for early winter, like November, then I would definitely recommend going to Inari region, to Saariselkä, to Ivalo, or to Inari, because the likelihood of you having a winter experience at this November season is much higher than if you would go to Rovaniemi, for example, and that's just a statistical fact, that's just how it is. Also, you have much better chances for northern lights in November if you go to Inari region than in Rovaniemi. So if November is the time to travel for you, then I would go a little bit higher north probably. So Inari region and the village of Inari might be just the place for you to visit. The village of Inari itself, it's rather small. So you have a couple of hotels there, and you have a couple of service providers and a couple of grocery stores. What Inari is specifically known for, it's being a center of Sami culture, As you might have heard, Sami people are the only indigenous people in the whole European Union and also in Finland. And nowadays, there are not many of Sami people out there. It's estimated there are about 8,000 Sami people, so you don't find them, that often. They used to be nomadic back in the day, but now they have settled down. And Inari village, it's probably the place where you have, I think they have the biggest population of Sami people in the whole Finland. And Inari village is a great place to know Sami culture because it has Sami parliament and Sami cultural center. Two of them are situated nearby. There is cultural center Sajos with the dark brown walls and kind of triangular shape, which is the center where the language is preserved and where the library of Sami language is also held, with a nice souvenir shop. And then there is Sida. It's a cultural center which is situated on the other side of the river after the bridge. And the cultural center tells you all about the Sami culture in Finland. And do visit this place in any season. If you're just driving by north, it's very easy to pop in and out of these two places. So, if you just continue driving up north from Inari, you will encounter very little people, very little villages, and for like 100 kilometers, you will only have like wilderness and wilderness and wilderness. And after driving a couple of hours, you will arrive to Utsjoki, the most northern region in Finland. Utsjoki, it's also a Sami village, but a very tiny one, with just a couple of shops and a couple of hotels. Still, even though it's very sparsely populated, it's probably one of the most beautiful places to visit in whole Finland, certainly in Finnish North. Utsjoki lies on the border with Norway, so you have Finland in the south, separated by Tana River or Deatno River, what it's called in Sami language, Teno in Finnish, and on the northern side you have Norway, and you can basically go explore Norway as well while being based in Utsjoki, which is a pretty cool thing to do. There is a so-called Sami Bridge, which takes you from the Finnish side to the northern shore towards Norway. There are a couple of options to stay in Utsjoki. The one I prefer, it's called what is it called? Now I forget it, but I might remember that a little bit later. One of the coolest places to visit in Utsjoki is the beautiful Fell Ylläs. You can drive there with your car if you purchase a pass, which costs €5, and you can obtain the pass in the Gais coffee shop in the village, in the center of the village. So you can also walk up there from the village as well. You don't have to drive there or pay for the road fee. But in any case, you will enjoy the beautiful sceneries that are all around from Fell Ylläs, including the village of Utsjoki itself, as well as the northern side. The river of Deatno is known to be one of the few rivers that have natural salmon still. And in this time of the year, July to August, I think it's one of the places to fish for salmon. And you have to have a permit for that, and you'll likely have to use services of a local guide in order to do that, but it's certainly doable. And they have special kind of boats that you can go fishing on the Deatno River, and usually you do it in the early morning, I think. So I haven't done fishing on the Deatno River. I have done salmon fishing on in Muonio, but I think it's the same process. You go very early and you just roll around and you wait for the salmon. But I have tasted wild salmon that was caught in the Deatno River, and it was totally amazing. So really nice place to go salmon fishing and to taste one. There is not much civilization around in Utsjoki. You have a couple of service providers, a couple of companies that will take you out for some adventure, like snowmobiling adventure. But the main thing about Utsjoki, it's this totally wild nature around. There are a couple of huge wilderness areas which are to the left and to the right side of Utsjoki. And once you go up the fells, you end up on a very kind of, even plateau. And this plateau offers a very barren land. Nothing much grows out there. There are only like a few species of, plants, a few birds, some reindeer, but that's it. It's kind of barren land, very rugged, but also very beautiful. One of the coolest season to visit Utsjoki and Finnish North, it's the autumn foliage season, or Ruska, which is in the middle of September. And this is when all of the green leaves turn orange and bright yellow, and this is when the image there totally shines. It's beauty all around there. And then, if you drive from Utsjoki more north in the Finnish North, you will end up in the village of Nuorgam, which is the most northern part of Finland and European Union. There is a border with Sweden, so it doesn't mean that civilization ends there. But if you go to Nuorgam and you want to explore nature, it looks like a very kind of barren land, very rugged. So it's if you're an experienced hiker and you know your way around nature and you want a totally immersive experience in the wilderness, then I would totally recommend going into Utsjoki and Nuorgam and go hiking over there, and it probably will be a very cool experience for you. So we are almost done exploring northern Lapland. We've just been to the Utsjoki village over here. Very beautiful place. You have two big wilderness areas out there which stretch for several dozens of kilometers. Still, you can explore those on your own if you like to. You have the most northern village in Lapland and in Finland called Nuorgam, and a beautiful wilderness which surrounds the village out there. So go there and visit. Totally beautiful places. And for our final area that we're going to explore in this podcast, it's going to be Muonio region. So we're kind of back towards the western Lapland. We are going to explore very quickly the Muonio region, and then we'll go to Kilpisjärvi over here on the border of both Sweden and Norway, and it's considered to be the most beautiful area in whole Finland, at least in my opinion. So Moni is saying, great advice as we want to fly to Lapland after Christmas. Thank you. Greetings from Switzerland. So I'm not sure which one advice are you referring to. Moni, maybe you can clarify for me, and that will be nice, because I'm trying to give lots and lots of advices for you guys, but I would like to know which one did you find particularly useful in this stream. And we also have Stuart joining the stream once again. Thanks a lot for following our stuff, Stuart. He's saying good evening to Alex and everyone around the world. Likewise. Likewise. And we have now entered the Muonio region in Lapland. And Muonio is very vast, so we're going to go very shortly around that. One particular place that I like in Muonio, it's Fell Särkitunturi. And it's a fell that it's easy to explore on your own, both in winter and summer. The trail to Fell Särkitunturi starts just near the road, and it's only 2 kilometers away from the parking spot, and it's just a beautiful panoramic spot, and you can see everything around the area, the other fells, and there is also a really cool place to have a break and have some tea or coffee and some sandwiches, or maybe grill some sausages out there. So that's Fell Sarkitunturi. In summer, one of the coolest places to visit is Lake Pallasjärvi, and it's very famous for its red sand. They have a red sand beach, and the water can be quite cold. So, well, it depends. It depends on the summer. You can swim out there, although it's not very deep lake. It's kind of famous for its beautiful view towards Pallas Fells, which are rugged fells north from Lake Pallasjärvi. It's also one of my favorite places to catch northern lights in September and October until we have snow. So Lake Pallasjärvi, very beautiful. Another great lake in Muonio, it's Lake Jerisjärvi, like our viewer Barbara is suggesting. That's quite right. So now we're going to skip towards the north and we're going to go straight to Kilpisjärvi region, which is probably the most beautiful place in whole Finnish Lapland, and I cannot recommend to visit this place enough. Kilpisjärvi is a lake which separates Sweden and Finland, and most time of the year it remains frozen. It only unfreezes in mid-June, I think, and it freezes already in October, so it's only a few months in a year that it remains unfrozen. Kilpisjärvi region is probably most known for Fell Saana, a beautiful rugged fell just in the middle of the scenery, which is a great place to visit. You can hike this place both winter and summer, so I've done both. And Kilpisjärvi is such an amazing region that even if you come in summer, you can still experience winter. And then, I'm not joking. Even if you come in June, there might be still snow on the ground, lots of it. There might be fresh snow, and some of the lakes can still have ice cover. So that's one of the peculiarities of Kilpisjärvi. It's just, as north as you can get in Finland. When climbing Fell Saana, it can be quite physical, so it's quite steep. But if you're in a good shape, it probably will be somewhat easy for you. And the sceneries that open from Fell Saana are just amazing, including the sceneries opening up towards the village of Kilpisjärvi, which is like really small, just a shop, a few cottages around. So there's not much out there in Kilpisjärvi. The main thing you do in Kilpisjärvi, you explore nature. Although there are a couple of safari companies that organize tours, I think it's Kilpisjärvi. It's more kind of for independent travelers who know what they're doing, who know what they look for, and that's what they get there. So not many people out there, just wild nature and yourself. I have explored Fell Saana several ways in several seasons, so that is probably one of the most breathtaking and memorable experience that I had in the Finnish North. Needless to say, Kilpisjärvi is also one of the best areas for northern lights in whole Finnish Lapland because of its northern location. And last time I went to Kilpisjärvi, my goal was to climb to Fell Saana in the daytime, but as a bonus I got magnificent northern lights on both of the nights I was staying there. Actually, I was kind of lazy. I didn't want to go out for northern lights because I was so tired of hiking in the daytime, and I was kind of almost hoping that I could have a calm night in the cottage. And it also looked like it was cloudy, but then the clouds dissipated and boom, there were incredible northern lights. So both nights I was there, I was like 3 or 4 hours outside in the cold taking pictures of northern lights. And it's just so easy out there. You have to step out of the cottage, walk a few hundred meters towards the wilderness with the trail, and that's it. You're set. There's nothing else you need to do. Just have your camera ready, have some warm clothes, and just don't miss the moment. That's the thing. And it was very like ridiculous, even to the point of being ridiculous, how easy it was to get Northern Lights. You just step out of the cottage, and even though there were lights from the cottages, you can still see those Northern Lights pretty clearly. So that kind of, that is too good to be true. So for example, on some season and some places in southern Finland, you can search for Northern Lights, the whole night. You might see something small, but when you go to the north, it just becomes so much easier for you. So that concludes our tour around Finnish Lapland. So to summarize, we'll go once again over our locations. Rovaniemi, it's a great place to visit in any season because everything is open all year round. You can visit cultural attractions, museums, Santa Village, meet with Santa, and enjoy some nice food and shopping in the city. It's a very nice place to visit, especially with families, with kids. And you can also take a day trip from Rovaniemi to Ranua and see some wild animals, polar bears as well, all year round. Kemi is also a nice location in southern Finland, famous for its snow castle and for its icebreaker. You can also do a day tour to Kemi from Rovaniemi. You can see both things, the Sampo icebreaker and the snow castle on the same visit, although you can also stay in nice comfortable cottages that they have in the area. You also have Kuusamo region, which you can access all year round and do some animal wildlife watching in summer, and to have an amazing winter experience, see lots of snow and do some epic alpine skiing in Ruka ski resort, one of my favorite ski resorts in whole Finland, and have this like really cozy experience, especially during the Polar Light Festival in mid-January to February. Best time to visit Ruka, I think, in winter months. And speaking about ski resorts, you can visit them all the way until end April. Of course, it will be a little bit different. It will be less wintry, but you can still do alpine skiing as late as the last week of April in Finland's and Lapland's ski resort, and Ruka is certainly one of them. Then we also had Pyhä and Luosto resorts. Luosto resort, known for its amethyst mine that you can visit all year round, also in wintertime. The only 2 months when the amethyst mine is not accessible, it's in May and November when the seasons change. But apart from that, you can visit it whole year round. And you can also stay in the beautiful Pyhä resort with not many people, still kind of close to Rovaniemi, so you don't have to go a long way from the airport to find yourself in the middle of nature. We have very famous Levi and Ylläs areas, with Levi one of the best ski resorts, along with Ruka, very modern, very fast lifts and amazing slopes, pure snow, and nice services in Levi village. Or you can go to Ylläs resort, which is a total kind of opposite to Levi, with very relaxed atmosphere and lots of nature around, lots of trails to explore on your own with cross-country skis, doing alpine skiing, or going on mountain biking adventures. And by the way, you can do mountain biking adventures in Ylläs also in wintertime, not only in summer, and that's because of these fat tires that this mountain bike have. And you can rent a mountain bike with fat tires, also known as fat bike, in the local sport shops. So I've done mountain biking both in summer and winter, and it's kind of difficult to say which one is better, because both are special in their own way. And there is lots of nature also to explore in Ylläs just on your own. Going up north to Saariselkä, you can enjoy beautiful nature at Saariselkä ski resort both winter and in summer by going on a hiking trip to Urho National Park. And you can go even more up north to the amazing Aurora Village, which I like a lot, and enjoy winter and summer there as well, with beautiful northern lights and some winter activities. And going even more north, you can visit Inari, the center of Sami culture in Finland, and see the beautiful lake Inari. Or going in even more further north to Utsjoki, to like this really, really wild area, maybe do some salmon fishing in the summer. And next we had the Kilpisjärvi area with massive northern lights and beautiful rocky fells and amazing landscapes. So that kind of concludes that stream. There are a few places that we haven't touched, and those are Kemijärvi and Salla areas in eastern Lapland. So these are nice places to visit too. You can search information online about them as well, and go search as well about the Muonio region. We also barely touched that because there is so much more to explore there than I just showed you. And thanks a lot for watching the stream and listening to the podcast. If you want to find the podcast, you can search for All About Lapland on all of the popular podcasting apps, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and whatnot. If you don't find our podcast on your preferred podcasting app, then just tell us which one it is and we will join there. If you like to support what we do, the best way to do that, of course, is to comment and like and share our stuff that we do. And the second way that you can help us is to go to our online store, aurorashop.fi. It's a Finnish and Lappish design store where we have locally made products, so no bullshit, only nice stuff locally made from wood, from reindeer horn. We have cosmetics, we have kuksa cups, we have superfoods from Lapland, which is very healthy and nice for you. And we also have prints with my own photos as well, and you can use code THANKYOU to have 50% discount on checkout, and we ship worldwide. Thanks for tuning in, and stay cool until the next one.